What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the John Squared Gaming Show, episode 15. I am John.
I am John.
That's
You
John.
got, you got it. I'm backwards too, so like I'm looking here at you, and on my camera I'm looking at myself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a fun game.
To me, if I point this way, um, it like that. It looks like I'm pointing to you, but I should have, should have practiced. I'm not very professional of me. John,
Hello.
your Vikings won a game this week. How you feel?
Pretty good. We can talk about football this week. Uh, we are 2 plays away from being 3-0. I feel like
Unfortunate,
no one's talking
but
about Kirk Cousins and how well he's played through 3 games. The fact that Mike Zimmer hasn't called him a piece of shit yet has been incredible.
Yep.
And after the game Sunday, he got his wish. He got to play football unvaccinated
Mm-hmm.
and then be surrounded by plexiglass on his way back into the locker room.
Yep.
It was, best of both worlds.
Yeah,
We
man.
don't have to, I was gonna say we don't have to talk about New York football. We can skip
Uh
it.
no, well, so we don't have to talk specifically about the Giants, but I do have something. I've come to like a revelation, I guess. Obviously, as I sit week after week in pain, I've come to a realization, and and that is similar to, I guess, very light spoilers for My Hero Academia, very early. So in order for Deku to truly harness One for All, he realizes that he needs to have that going at all times. In some capacity, he's got to feel it in his body at all times. So what I've realized is, in order for these crushing, brutal losses and this agony to not hit me and impact me so much on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays, potentially, I just have to live in pain. I have to have the pain run through my full body at all times. And so going forward, I am just going to be living in agony at some level, permanently. So
You see these bags under my eyes?
I
How
do.
dark there? It looks like I two. That's from what?
Crying, tears of
20,
joy.
20, 20, 20 years, 19 years of being a Vikings fan.
Yeah.
I have to live in complete disappointment and pain year round because come football season, it is you just can't do it. You can't. I didn't sleep after week 1 because I wasn't ready. And when we lost, I was so frustrated and upset that I just couldn't sleep.
Yeah. If you guys haven't noticed, for the video watchers, the video viewers, I this is like kind of a mess. And
John's
that
trying
jet.
to.
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say you're trying to be like me. You're trying to steal my shit.
No, I woke up Monday morning, still pissed off.
Yeah.
Uh, went in the bathroom, looked in the mirror, was like, who fucking cares? Life is meaningless. And then I just haven't shaved it since.
Throw it until you guys win.
Honestly, sure, yeah, because like my wife's
I,
gonna
I
hate it, but
I don't think I've ever seen it get longer than that.
oh no, at the start of COVID, it got long. But you didn't see me
Oh
in
yeah.
person. But yeah, it
No.
got really long. I don't know if I have pictures, but I let everything grow out. I had like the Justin Herbert
That's I'll
hairs.
tell I'll tell all video listeners right now. Video listeners, video watchers. It's the same thing. Who fucking cares?
They
I'll
listening
tell
too.
everyone. I'll tell everyone who's doing anything involving this. John was hot in the middle of the pandemic.
Hey, I actually do miss the long hair. I'm kind of growing it a little bit further out. I was doing the fade again, but I missed it, dude. I liked wearing the headband, the headband look.
I mean, you should grow back out. Do it. You'll grow back. My hairline's receding. One of us has to have hair.
I'll always be the one. John,
Yeah. Welcome to the
I,
gaming show.
we not almost gaming, related in the same stratosphere, but I woke up this morning, went on Twitter, per usual, saw this tweet here. And I thought this would be an interesting discussion. Now, um, so for audio listeners, this says which team is clearing, and this is at Scarlet Bitch 2 on Twitter. Um, and it is a picture of the Avengers and the X Men.
So
Um,
here's the thing: is this the movie characters, or is this like just those characters in general? Like, are these like we talking about like the X Men movies versus the Avengers movies? Because like so for audio listeners, it was specifically Avengers: Age of Ultron with Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and the other people, and then that looked like X Men 3 potentially.
yeah, yeah, that's what it looks like.
So are we talking those movies, or are we talking those just in general, like the characters?
Um, I'm gonna say in general, I think this was just like to give
X
a
Men
image
versus
to it.
Avengers, who would win?
Yeah. Um, so before we get into this, I want to let anyone who's watching know that I am not like super versed in the I was really big into X-Men when I was younger and got into the Avengers like recently. But I think you're a little bit more knowledgeable in this field, so I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah, I'm a fucking piece of shit. You can put me in a locker. Uh, I probably X Men, quite honestly.
Okay.
It's tough. Scarlet Witch is the only one that can do any damage. Uh, but I feel like if you watch the other ones, like it's just everyone versus her. I mean, she can fucking rewrite reality, though. You know, like it's
Yeah,
tough to beat her. But like Magneto versus Iron Man is fucking. That's not a fight. Magneto just goes
that's
like this,
just
and he's done.
unfortunate.
I mean, same with the shield. He just takes that from Cap, and now what? You're just a strong man. I mean, Wolverine's slicing you up. Hulk versus
So
Wolverine would be a good fight.
that's what we got. So we got to talk about matchups here. Um, and none of this like obviously in an actual like if this were a movie, it is a comic, I guess.
Yeah,
Because I read the comments here, but it's not like like Wolverine beats like Captain America, and then since he wins, he gets to help somebody else. No, we're talking one for one matchups here.
that's tough.
I mean, so like the Wanda thing, where like she has the capability of like just wrecking everything, and so like that, like we have to take that into account. But it's not like Wolverine's um claws are meant for a single attack for the most part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
it's just a 1v1 in each thing, and there's no crossover. That makes it a little bit tougher. I'm putting Wanda against Jean Grey for sure.
for sure, yeah,
Uh,
and that's
see, it's tough to put someone up against because I want to do Magneto and Iron Man because it's a quick fight, but like after that, what? You know, like he
well. So for that one, is it like the smartest person? But that would be Professor X maybe on X Men because
it would probably be Beast, quite honestly. Because Professor X could like he's the smartest. Well, he's one of the like. What I
but
mean,
Beast
what's he gonna do?
does Beast have to go against Hulk though?
No, Wolverine goes against Hulk
Why?
because he can regenerate,
Okay.
and
Well,
he, he's
who wins that?
that one's honestly that one might be the second toughest. My bias says Wolverine,
Hmm.
but like, sorry, my phone's ringing. But I don't. That's tough because Hulk is a big old piece of shit.
Yeah, Hulk's never done it for me, so it is bias speaking, but it is so hard when you consider
I think I
his
just
strength and size.
well and he also can regenerate, which is
Right.
the other issue. You know, and he gets stronger the angrier he gets. I just it's so tough to put anyone up against him. Beast, I don't think Beast would do. I think Beast versus Captain America is a fair fight. I think Rogue versus Hulk because she sucks the life out of people.
Yeah, but doesn't she absorb that?
Yes. The fuck.
I don't know if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's gonna end this life. She's just gonna keep sucking.
It's got to be Hawkeye versus Cyclops, right?
No.
And,
Cyclops is tough as shit. He's not like Cyclops in the movies is kind of a fucking simp.
no,
Like he
I'm
doesn't do
saying,
much.
but that's the matchup because like who else would it be? You know,
Uh,
that's what I like.
might be right.
That's the matchup, and Cyclops wins that.
Maybe Rogue against Black Widow then, because she has to get up close too for the most part.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Rogue's winning that one.
I mean maybe Thor versus Storm. Storm's getting washed probably. Although
yeah, that would
that's
be
gonna be a tough one.
yeah.
But I think Thor would probably win.
I
I'm trying
I
to think of who else is there.
I do think at the in the end, I would say X-Men wins. But you know, just Wanda's the wild card.
And so, and you could also talk about like if you want to get real fucking nerdy with it,
Yeah,
that Magneto's her father. So like maybe, he can calm her down and get a cuz she's been with the X-Men too. So maybe she's a traitor.
and she's not exactly mentally stable.
No, and like Quicksilver is just fast. That's Magneto's other kid, you know? So if he can get some traitors, then fucking Avengers getting washed, dude.
Another thing, not to drag this out too long. Another thing that I was I didn't have this discussion with anybody on Twitter because I wanted to save it here. Do you think preparation? Because I was thinking with preparation, I almost feel like the Avengers have the upper hand. Um, but if it was just like they ran into each other on the streets, you know, one of them bumped into the other one, said, and they got into a good old like
Street fight?
back street, yeah. But then I think it's X-Men, you know.
Oh yeah, Street fight. X-Men are washed. I mean, you piss off Wolverine, he's a wild card. But like if they had time to prep, I still don't know. I mean, Avengers would probably do better. I don't know if they'd win though.
Hmm.
Plus, if we're talking full X-Men, there's like 50 of them. You're pulling Colossus out, Juggernaut,
Yeah,
and you're putting them up against Hulk.
right.
Like it's tough. But I mean, I like the X-Men more than I like the Avengers, so I would pick the X-Men.
Yeah, that's fair. And also in like mainstream, like how they're portrayed in the mainstream, it's like X-Men is really like mature, you know. Like I feel like it's darker, grittier, and then Avengers for them like they have their moments, but for
Yeah,
the most part, it's like
in current pop culture, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that played a big part in a lot of people's um opinions and stuff, and also the recency of WandaVision and showing how powerful she is, which phenomenal show. Absolutely loved it.
I mean, and then you look at like the end of X-Men 3, where like Wolverine's walking up to Jean Grey and just his skin's getting fucking obliterated,
Oh
and
man,
he's just fine.
Iconic scene, dude.
Those movies they're not good, but they're not the worst, you know?
So actually, I was talking with my brother-in-law about this, talking about how like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies
Yeah.
are bad,
Yeah.
and the thing
Well,
was, hold on. So
okay.
I was telling because he was talking how bad they were and stuff, and I was like, what's crazy to me is, I only ever watched those movies like a handful of times when I was younger,
Yeah.
and Kirsten Dunst was like my first ever like I was like obsessed with her, and it like it really was my first like crush I feel like I've ever had. But when I was little, I'm not looking at like plot holes and acting and the stuff like that. I'm just like, this is Spider-Man. This is a babe. I love this. This is awesome. The dance scene, even when I was younger, like I knew it was goofy, but like I have not watched those movies since, and so I grew up until like it started to become a conversation when these other Spider-Man movies were coming out, and I just thought they were good movies. And yeah, I guess they're not. And so I wonder how it is with X-Men, because when I watched X-Men when I was younger, I oh my god, man, like they
They're
were amazing.
not.
So
They're not good at all. They're not good. So like, and the thing is, I think me and you had this discussion at some point. I don't think it was any time like too recently, where you said that Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man, and it's like if you go back and watch those movies, he's a 30-year-old guy playing an 18-year-old. Like he's not.
wait, I never
And
said that.
I could have swore you did.
I never ever said that.
Who did? I thought it
There's
was
no
you.
shot. There's no shot I ever said that. I said
I could have swore it
I
was
said
you.
he's the third best.
That's fair. That's for sure fair.
I'm taking
He's
Tom Holland, then I'm
yeah.
taking the Spider-Man PS4 Spider-Man, and then I'm taking Tobey Maguire and
Damn,
then Andrew Garfield.
I was gonna say you're not even putting Garfield in top 3. I'd put Garfield in top 3. He'd be number 3, like Toby's number 4.
Wow.
Uh, he's not good. He's an old man playing Spider-Man. But like Spider-Man 2 is a good movie. It is one of it might be one of the best Spider-Man movies.
Hmm.
Maybe superhero
I
movies.
I got to go back and watch those, and then I got to watch the original X-Men again. I have to do it.
You don't have to watch the original X-Men. Just watch Logan. Logan's the only that movie's like genuinely incredible, superheroes aside.
I will watch every X-Men movie that has ever come out before the
Don't do
Wolverine
that.
game comes out. I'm going to.
Don't do
Um
that.
all
There's
right.
so many. Hang on, please. There's so many from the 2010s that you don't need to see.
I'm going to. I'm going to watch all of them.
Oh no.
What I was going to say was um enough superhero talk. Psych. We got a couple more stories. The first one, Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 5. We're pulling this from once again our boy Hiram Cryer at Games Radar.
Can we get him on the show?
I feel like we have to. He's going to be a legend for us.
Like, hey, bud, like can you just read your articles to us?
So it's the the article says Marvel Spider-Man 2 is getting a little darker than the original. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is getting a little darker than the first game, according to Marvel's creative vice president. This is according to Marvel's creative vice president Bill Roseman, speaking over the last few days on This Week in Marvel podcast. If the first Spider-Man game was Star Wars, Spider-Man 2 is kind of our empire, Roseman says. It gets a little darker, the vice president added, and if Spider-Man 2 is getting darker, as Roseman indicates, then it certainly recruited the right villain to fit the setting. Insomniac's sequel will see Peter Parker and Miles Morales teaming up as Venom enters the game's world, who will be voiced by Tony Todd. I think when we saw Venom, I assumed that would be the case. It's not like it's gonna get it's gonna be like a lighter story or something.
It's not gonna be the Venom movies where it's just like a buddy cop movie.
Yeah. So, what does this make you any more excited? Do you have any thoughts on this?
So my initial thought when I read the article was okay. Spoiler for Spider-Man, is it 2014, 2016,
18.
2018? Okay, I knew it was a 2. Uh, spoiler for that. Aunt May's dead. There's 2 Spider-Men. So if it's gonna get darker, I'm assuming someone's got to die. There's also the voiceover that you hear in the trailer for it.
Yeah.
From what I was reading, that's Kraven the Hunter, whose main goal is to hunt and kill Spider-Man. So I could see them killing Peter Parker and just having Miles take over, or killing Miles, and I mean, which that would be met with backlash. So I don't know if they do it, but
I would be part of that backlash.
Yeah. So I could see them killing Peter as like halfway through to like push the second half of the game.
Yeah. Man, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Especially if like our prediction of Kratos dying in the next God of War, if that ends up happening, so Sony is just like, oh, this main character you love, like there
Yeah.
is Joel. You know, we're going Kratos, we're going Peter, like we're going all in. That'd be nuts. But
So,
oh, go ahead.
well, this also plays into more superhero news. So they're like Marvel is currently suing the estates of
Yeah,
Stanley and someone else for the rights. If they lose this lawsuit, they can no longer make any products that's comics, movies, games, anything with characters like Spider-Man, which is
yeah,
slate for 2023.
they would have to um like work another deal to do
Yeah,
that. Um,
which would be very hard to do. And in that case, I mean, this game will probably come out, but this will be it. You know?
hmm. I don't want to think about a world where these games aren't coming out.
Yeah.
Um, I I wonder what he means by darker. Like how because we're not going from, I think it's Spider-Man 2018 was rated T.
Yeah.
I think it's not like we're gonna go mature. Like I wonder what we're doing here. Like
Are you sure though?
I would think not, because I mean the first game sold so well, and that generally, you know, cuts off a part of your audience. Um,
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like I feel no, so I feel like it's gonna be like in the first one, Peter was very like jokey still.
yeah,
Uh
yeah.
like it was like fun kind of, kind of comedy, haha. This one could just lose that and be like, hey, we're gonna kill you and we're gonna kill everybody else and that's it.
I want to see a scene with Peter and Miles doing the Tobey Maguire dance, the walking down the street together.
I
I
swear on everything.
um yeah, this makes me kind of excited. Like this isn't like new to gaming though. If you like
No.
Majora's Mask, and it looks like that's what's happening in Breath of the Wild, stuff like the sequels going darker places. I'm excited for this just because Spider-Man really is, for the most part, like more uplifting stories and stuff like that, and it's more light. It's like a lot of comedy and stuff. So I'm excited to see um where this goes. And I also, the only thing that I really have questions about for this game is it, in the trailer showed New York again. Are we staying in New York again for another game?
I mean, that's his home base. Where else are you gonna bring him?
I don't know. If we have another setting where the story takes place, I don't know. It almost kind of seems like if we're doing this again, I don't know, man. Like
There's a lot left untouched in New York. Like, I mean, wait, you gonna bring him to fucking Jersey? Or it's gross there.
another
I wouldn't want to
country.
save Jersey. Well,
I don't
that's
know.
where you gonna go
Europe.
to fucking Yugoslavia? I mean, what do you want?
Yes.
Spider Man.
I don't. I obviously will still be excited. I just want to see another setting done. Um,
What I
and
think they're gonna do is start tearing down landmarks. Like, you only did a quick scene on the Brooklyn Bridge, in Miles Morales game. You've never done anything with the Empire State Building. You've never done anything. Have you done anything at the Statue of Liberty? I don't think so. I think you couldn't even get there.
no.
There's monuments to still be touched in New York City.
Yeah, I suppose. And maybe the darker theme, like maybe that changes a lot. Like how
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is, there is going to be some of the same settings in Hyrule, but you're going in the sky, you're going like potentially underground, stuff like that. So maybe there's
Right.
more things like that. Um
Maybe by darker, they just meant you have to try to ride the subway in New York City.
Maybe they just turn
Just
the brightness all the way down,
yeah,
and it's just Spider-Man 1 again, but they just turned all the settings down.
dude, that would be the funniest bit. Like, I
It's,
wouldn't even be mad that I spent money on it if that was the joke.
yes, you would.
You're right. I'd be fucking pissed, dude. I'd be furious.
All right, that's enough for Spider-Man. Psych. We got another Spider-Man story.
I was gonna say, wait, wasn't there another one?
Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man will arrive with his own cutscenes and story mission. This is from Vicky Blake, also at Games Radar. So Spider-Man is what we all call, Spider-Man is what we call an event. So he will have cutscenes and a story for sure. That's in quotes. As reported by MP First, Crystal Dynamics has confirmed that when Spider-Man finally makes an appearance in Marvel's Avengers on PlayStation consoles exclusively later this year, he will be accompanied by his own story mission and unique cutscenes. Confirmation came via Games Discord server and a response from Crystal Dynamics' Dan Matlack, who responded to a question from a fan saying, Spider-Man is what we call an event, so he will have his own cutscene and story for sure. So that's cool. Still haven't given this a shot, but some other news for this game is it is coming to Game Pass in 2 days on
September
October
30th.
oh
September 30th, so tomorrow.
tomorrow. Obviously, Spider-Man will not be in the Game Pass version.
That's what I was just gonna say.
That stinks. But I am going to give this game a shot finally. Because I do want to play the this kid's outside my window right now. I do want to play the Black Panther expansion. So
Yep. Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, it's a bummer we won't get to play the Spider-Man one because I'm not paying for
yeah,
this game. Just putting that out there. It's a 0% chance I ever fucking pay for it. But it'll be nice to play, to finally give it a shot, especially when I've heard nothing but good things about the last like two events they've
the
done.
War for Wakanda expansion. Yeah, same.
Yeah, especially that. I've heard that was really, really good. Um, so I am excited to finally try it. Which I think we said we're doing it this Friday. But if not, we'll probably do it individually this weekend.
Yeah, at some point. Even if we don't play with our main Friday night group, then I'm definitely down to try it for a little
Yeah.
bit on Saturday. Yeah. Well, so this is what I'll say. If we play this game this weekend and I get kind of addicted to it, or if I think it's really fun, there is a shot that I will. Because even when the Spider-Man expansion comes out, the most this game's going to be is $20. So depending on, you know, how much I do enjoy it, I would be willing to pay for it if the gameplay, if I like the gameplay enough.
Well, actually, what I think currently PlayStation's running a sale for the next like week or so on the it's for PS Plus members, and this game is part of that sale. And I think it's like $24.
Yes, and by the time Spider-Man hits, the $20 price tag is going to be a lock.
Yeah. It's been on sale every single month for the past like year and a half.
It's so funny that I have like different levels for games where like most Sony or PlayStation first party games are day ones for me. A lot of like big like Square Enix. So like I'll probably be day oneing Guardians, Final Fantasy, stuff like that. But there are this next tier where I definitely want to play it, but I know very soon they're gonna drop prices on things. and Avengers was one. There's no shot I was ever playing this day one.
Yeah, that's Guardians for me, and that's Immortals Phoenix Rising. I really want to play it. I'm waiting until it's like $15.
I did play some of that.
Good.
On Actually, yeah. I so you have to go into that game knowing it's not Breath of the Wild. It learned a
Yeah.
lot of like good things from Breath of the Wild, and then it didn't take some of the right lessons that Breath of the Wild had. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I didn't finish it, but I also played it on shit. What is Ubisoft's PC program? Ubisoft Plus, I think it's called.
That's a
Um,
stupid name. I mean, that makes sense, but it's a
I
stupid name.
I don't know, but it's Game Pass for Ubisoft only on PC, whereas every Ubisoft game and day one titles. So like I'll be playing Far Cry 6 on that, and it's like $15.
Oh, I can do that. Yeah, because I'm not
So
paying $60 for that either, quite honestly, or 70, whatever the price tag is.
yeah. So it's funny though. Like Doom Eternal was another one where it came out. It also came out the same day as Animal Crossing, where I sunk like 100 something hours in Animal Crossing, and
Yeah,
but I was like, I just know this game is going to be, and then it ended up hitting Game Pass later on in the year. Um, Big shout out to Game Pass. We can't let an episode go by without mentioning Game Pass.
big
Um,
facts. Also, speaking of Ubisoft games, uh, I'm just gonna flow. I'm gonna for the general public. I'm gonna try this pretty frequently. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is $9 on PlayStation right now on PS5. If you don't buy it there, you should play it on Ubisoft service. Because I think that one you'll really like. Because that's more of a traditional. Not. It's not like Origins.
Wait,
Plus, there's two.
are you saying
I'm
that to
talking to
me?
you.
Oh, I
Yeah, I'm
thought
talking to you.
you said the general audience, so I thought you were
Oh,
talking to
I was just
everybody.
giving them a
It's like
warning
a
that I'm going to
PSA.
keep. No, no, no. Well, it's a PSA to them that I'm going to keep bringing this up to you and trying to push you to play them.
When we get to a point in time where there's not release after release, I
You stink.
definitely I no, I mean, come on, man. Like I haven't even beat Deathloop yet. Um and I haven't touched Kenna since because I've been playing so
Yeah,
much Deathloop.
I
Um
can't touch that. I don't have the time.
yeah, it's fucking nuts, but I am so excited to get back to it. Anyways, okay. That actually is the last bit of superhero news. No, for real, for real. All right, so we got announced today October's PlayStation Plus games, which what the fuck, dude? It feels like I just talked about September's like last week. Like
Yeah,
I when this was announced, I was like, really already? Like nuts. So for PS5, we got a game called Hell Let Loose. And for PS4, we got Mortal Kombat X and PGA Golf 2K21.
what did you just say? You said Mortal Kombat.
Did I? I'll have to
Yes.
go. I'll have to listen back. Mortal Kombat. So this is on the PS blog. I'm not reading all that. So I'll read the
Nice.
description for Hell Let Loose. For PS5. This is only if you own a PS5. I think it's on PS4, maybe, but it's only free if you have PS5. This World War II inspired multiplayer title splices epic 100-player battles with a unique resource-based RTS inspired meta game, where commanders direct the flow of battle and co-coordinate powerful in-game. Okay, this is
Nope.
too much. I don't know what half of these words fucking like.
You said like fucking 6 abbreviations in a row. I mean, what?
Yeah,
I can barely speak normal English. I speak at a first grade level.
splices epic 100-player battles with a unique resource-based RTS inspired meta game.
The
It's
fuck is an RTS?
it looks like just a World War II, like a more authentic World War II shooter. So if that's what you're interested in, go to town for if you have a PS5. PGA Tour 2K21.
All
No,
stinks.
no thanks. And Mortal Kombat X is already on the PlayStation Plus collection if you own a PS5, so that kind of sucks. Last month's was way better.
I thought it was gonna be Mortal Kombat 11. I was really really excited, and I saw it was 10. I was like, I mean, what the fuck? What are we doing here? Huh?
Yeah, yeah, you're right because you're kind of smacking PS5 owners in the face here. You know,
And not
it
even
sounds
that, but like,
sounds a little entitled.
dude. And this is we're gonna talk about Game Pass again, and psych superheroes. They're bringing Avengers plus the newest DLC to Game Pass on top of other games. What the fuck is PlayStation? What is this? Who cares? Mortal Kombat is it's
Yeah.
$10 on PS4. What are you doing?
And Mortal Kombat 11, I think is like 20. I think that's the like because it's been a couple
And
years since it's been 2 years since it came out.
it's been 2 years. Why are you not just adding this? And like I
Yeah,
did try PS Now, and I get the service. I get why they're trying to get people to go to that. It is good. Uh, PS Plus fucking stinks lately.
yeah. I think like they did a like a couple like here and there they'll sprinkle it in, but like I don't know how the PGA games work. Like if this is it gonna is the 22 game already out or
Yeah,
come on man like this is like if they gave us Madden 21 right now like
but like what I'll say is like I might play this at some point if I like get really bored and just need a distraction. Uh, but like it's not good. I don't want it.
yeah that I always say no matter what if you have PlayStation Plus even if you're not interested in any of the games at least claim them because you don't have to
Yep.
download them at least claim them because you never know. You know, games change, you change. So I guess no matter what, just claim these games. So if you know,
And then if they stink, just write a strongly worded letter to PlayStation. Say, hey, what the fuck's going on?
yeah,
You know?
kindly and respectfully, what the fuck's
Yeah, you
going
can
on?
write whatever you want as long as you write respectfully at the end of it.
Yep, that's a good group chat lesson. Um, last up for the news, we got Nintendo is pulling someone.
Oh,
We're pulling from Nicole Carpenter at Polygon. It says Nintendo Switch developers say they already have a 4K dev kit,
ooh,
and the OLED model isn't even out yet. A new Nintendo Switch, a modest upgrade on the original called the Nintendo Switch OLED model, will be released in October, but it's not the 4K upgrade that many players were expecting. Bloomberg reported Wednesday, today, like a couple hours before we went live. However, that developers making Nintendo Switch games were surprised too. They'd been working on Nintendo Switch developer kits that supports 4K graphics. Bloomberg reported that developers at least at least 11 game companies have been working on games at using a 4K Nintendo Switch kit at both big studios and small. Nintendo told Bloomberg this information is inaccurate, but did not explain further. Um, Go ahead.
I mean, fuck them. What are you doing? You're giving out so what they're giving out dev kits, or are they saying like, hey, develop games for this, and then it's just not existing? Like, who are they lying to? Are they lying to the general public? Or are they lying to like,
So you don't think it exists?
no? Why, if it exists, why aren't you trying to sell it? Or why are you putting out this OLED model now if you have a 4K coming in like a couple months? Like what are they trying to pull? Other than
Um,
money out of fucking people's wallets and when we're in a fucking recession. Like what are we doing here?
yeah, I think we are going to see in March or April the announcement of the 4K model and it launching um sometime in summer, the 4K model. Or maybe a little bit further. Maybe it'll be like May, and then it comes in September or something.
Dude, fuck that.
Yeah, I fully believe. So there were enough people, um, like insiders that get things right, and don't usually report on things unless they are close to certain that it's real. Um, that we're talking about this Switch Pro 4K model, whatever. Um, and so I think that Nintendo's full of shit saying that this information isn't accurate. I'm sure they're pissed, because they probably gave these dev kits out to people with the agreement that they weren't going to say anything about it. Um, but yeah, I think this model's coming sometime next year, and it's not gonna be called Switch Pro. We know that they'll probably call it Switch 4K OLED. Like,
Dude, I just from from what I've seen, I guess Bloomberg doesn't report on stuff unless they're right. Oh, you got the bug thing now? They're coming to your house?
yeah, my
They fucking
window's
left
open.
my Yeah. I realized I had to close all mine after last week. Uh but like so and when they reported this months ago,
Mm-hmm.
it was like they're not lying. And then they come out with the OLED.
Yeah.
And it's like so now, I hate the idea of releasing a console once a year. Especially with like it's gonna have the OLED screen or whatever, and then it's gonna be 4K resolution on TV, like when it's docked. Is that the
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna.
so
It's.
like what
Go ahead. Sorry.
what is the point? I don't other than like stealing money. What is the point? That's what I'm
Um,
not understanding because this seems so shitty of a practice.
it does. It really does. It seems like very misleading. For people who are diehard Nintendo fans, um, who are willing to, no matter what, keep upgrading. People who already have multiple Switches in their household. Um, yeah. So I think that this new model is going to be. It's not going to be that much more powerful. Um, I think it's going to be another
No,
slight upgrade, and it's going to be using some form of. I don't know how much you know about. Actually, I do know. I know you don't know anything about it.
I know
In
nothing about anything.
NVIDIA's DLSS, um, which basically uses will take uses AI to upscale a smaller resolution, and it uses less power than actually natively using or displaying a 4K signal. So it'll still be 1080, but the DLSS in NVIDIA chips, because they use a custom chip in their in the Switch. I'm assuming they're probably in the middle of developing um, the DLSS for this, where it's going to be taking the 1080p signal, upscaling it to 4K. It's not going to. The Switch is not going to be able to run native 4K. There's no
No,
fucking shot. Um,
and so I guess because there's a graphics card shortage in general.
yeah.
So maybe that's why they didn't have the supplies to build it for this release with the OLED. But it's like, all right, make people wait 1 year and then put out both models at once and say, hey, this one's gonna be 250, this one's gonna be 350 at one time instead of saying, hey, pre-order this because we're not doing a 4K, and then a year later saying, hey, we're doing a 4K.
So I kind of get that. If they just announced this at the $300 price tag, I think it makes a lot more sense. And I don't think that anybody's kind of like looking at them. Like, for one, it was reported that this model, the OLED model, is cheaper to make than the original one, so they're profiting more.
Yeah.
And um, in Europe, they I believe it's Europe. they actually I forgot to add this in the story last week because I saw it when I was on vacation. They in Europe that the Switch models all dropped $50, so the OLED is $300, and it's only there, but it should have been everywhere because there's
Yeah,
not really that much of an upgrade. Um, I could see them like production flow. They ordered all of these OLED screens, and then they're just sitting there, maybe called an audible, and just slap the OLED on there, and then sent it out or had this. But
if that's the case, that's fucked up. There's no way if they come out with a 4K Switch, there is no way to come out of it looking good and not looking like just greedy sacks of shit. Granted,
unless
that's
it's
what
like
Nintendo has
two
always looked like.
years, something like that. Like
But
unless it
like at
comes
that
out
point,
like
it's going to be too outdated in 2 years. At that
yeah.
point, just build an entirely new, more powerful Switch. Like what? That's what I'm not getting. If you're putting out the OLED, put out the OLED, put the 4K, and then whatever the next Switch is going to be, that's going to be stronger. Don't just keep fucking around.
Yeah. So um I have a hypothetical question, I guess. Um what if Nintendo decides they're not doing um generation, like it's just Switch from here on out for a while, for the next 10 years, and almost like an iPhone, every year or two they upgrade something else.
If it's 2 years, every 2 years they put out something and there's significant improvements, and the price point doesn't jump like $100 every 2 years for those improvements, makes more sense. If you're going to do it every year and it's going to be just a little tweak here and there, and you're charging 50 to 100 more for it every year, I mean, no. If you're going to
Yeah.
charge, if it's if it's going to be a slight a slight tweak, uh I I don't think you can charge more than 300.
No. So in this scenario, it is maybe, so like 2 years from now. 2 years from now, we get a Switch 4K, and there's a 1080p one, but it's a little bit. They're both the chip is a little bit stronger. It's capable of doing a little bit more power, but there's like almost like like the iPhone 13 Pro, and then the iPhone 13, where the Pro, it has a little bit extra features, something like that. And maybe 2 years is it's probably too soon. Maybe it'll probably would be like every like 4 years, because I can't see where Nintendo goes from this. This is like, when it's all said and done, more likely than not going to be the best selling console of all time. So
So my I have a lot of gripes with them. My
sure,
one
yeah.
right now is this is the exact same thing that happened with the Switch, or not the Switch, the the DS,
Yeah. Yep.
and that buried it because people are like, what the fuck? Like what is the point? So you bought one and you stuck with it. You're not doing 3DS, 3DS XL, 3DS Lite, 2DS, all that. You just have one. But I mean, you're putting a new one out every year, but it's not selling because no one needs it. There's nothing significant about it. If the Switch turns into that, it might sell because there's always going to be fucking dweebs out there that buy Nintendo shit just because it's got their name on it. But like, I don't, I don't see how it's good for gaming as a whole.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't. I just thought because Nintendo always does things their own way. Like they go by their own rules. Like, I,
Because they're a toy company.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see. I do think that the 4K one is coming next year. I think it's gonna use some form of DLSS. I don't think it's going to be a major increase. The only time I am ever buying a new Switch, unless it's like a next gen one, the only way I'm upgrading my Switch is if I get Breath of the Wild at 60 frames per second. If not, I'm good. I'll rock this.
Even that for me, I mean, my Switch is fine.
I brought it on vacation because there's a lot of like downtime like while everyone is like showering, getting sand off of them and stuff. There's like just time to chill and stuff. I was like, I'm gonna finish Skyward Sword this week in my downtime, and I did. I literally didn't touch it.
Yeah. I mean, mine's been sitting in my gym for a month. In September. It's probably 6 months.
God damn.
Yeah, haven't touched it.
Well, if you guys didn't watch the React video, I reacted to the Nintendo Direct last week. Bayonetta, that for sure is gonna have me on my Switch. I think next month I'll probably pick up Metroid Dread, barring like really bad reviews like that. I probably won't. I think I want to pick that game up. So they're giving me potential. But yeah, it mostly isn't really used. You good?
So I told you I have a tree, walnut tree.
Mm.
And the branches are hanging over my house, and I think one of the walnuts just fell onto my roof.
You just got
So
nuts
that's,
smacking your house, literally nonstop.
anyways, yeah, dude, they fall all the time, and it sounds like someone's punching my ceiling. And like, unless you get a ladder, you can't come in. I mean, and the window's locked, so you can't get in up here. But I'm still looking over as if someone is
Just punching your roof.
Yeah. Um. Anyways, I don't
That's
think I'm gonna pick up my Switch until November 19th when Diamond and Pearl remake come out.
oh yeah,
Until then, I don't give a fuck.
that's fair. That's it for the game and news. John, what have you
Yes,
been
sir.
playing? What have you been playing this week?
Uh, I'll say one to get it out of the way, and then I know we're gonna talk about the next one. So the first one is Civilization. I'm back on that.
Okay.
That's that's the dorkiest game I play, but I love it. It was on sale again at PlayStation for $9, I think. I said, fuck it. I've already sank like fucking 10 hours into it.
Do you not already have that game?
I have it for Switch. So I bought it for PlayStation. Yeah, I bought it twice, but I've never paid full price for it ever. I paid $10 or $9 this time, and I think 15 last time. Either way, I don't think it's a game you'd really be into.
Yeah, for sure, it's not.
Yeah, but I love it. And the second game is Deathloop. Yeah, I've only sank like 4 to 6 hours into that, but I'll ask you, what are you playing? Since I'm assuming it's the same thing.
I'm trying to think. So, I was back on my Warzone bullshit on Friday. I really, I miss that game a lot. I think it, and obviously, um, the publishers of that game, Activision Blizzard, are currently being sued for sexual misconduct, allegedly in the workplace. So just wanted to.
They're being sued for sexual misconduct, for alleged sexual misconduct. They're being sued for shredding evidence that related to that case, and they're also have a lawsuit forming for firing employees who are trying to unionize. So
Yeah. So, just wanted to reiterate that before I say that I do think Warzone is by far the best battle royale game.
Apex, Fortnite, Warzone, and that's not even me being funny. That is genuinely how I feel.
I respect your opinion, but I do think it's wrong.
The player base fucking sucks, dude. It ruins the
That's
game.
okay. So that's a valid argument. The player base is full of little cringe fucks, and like, yeah, that's a valid argument against it. But the game at its core is so fucking good.
But
I love it.
man, and that's my thing is like, if the game at its core is good, but you can't actually experience that because every time you're getting either hackers that are taking you out or people that are just fucking camping on rooftops and head glitching. If you can't experience it at its best, then it can't. In my opinion, it can't be good. Like if your experience is only bad because of the people, like the player base, then it can't be good.
I think the difference is like the times that you do get them. For me, and it's not the same for everybody, but the times that you beat those kids, the times that you get those ones camping on the roof and stuff, that feels better than a normal kill. So like that is that makes the shitty times worth it to me personally, because how disgustingly competitive I am. It's I don't know. It's I love it, and I hope the management, the corrupt management, gets what they deserve. But and I hope that the developers that passionately make these games, that just genuinely love making video games and that's their passion, I hope they continue to thrive and make this game great, and make
I wish
sure
they
we
could.
keep that anti-cheat. So
Yeah, I mean it's already gone. I just watched a video the other day of people hacking already.
the anti-cheat is early. It's still young. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
look.
I bet. I mean they have it perfected for competition, but for the general public, they just can't do it. Can't figure it out. Get fucked. I mean, I'm so fucking sick of them. I wish all the developers could find like I wish there was another company out there that could take them all so that they could act because I just fucking want Activision to go under. I know it's shitty to say, but like I'm from top to bottom, it seems like they just don't give a shit. Those developers probably do.
Sure.
The people giving them direction don't give a shit. And it's been shown time and time again. And that fucking sucks.
Yeah, no, I definitely see where you're coming from. But yeah, other than Warzone, I have been playing more Deathloop. Um, I spent a very long time on Saturday playing Deathloop. I don't know how accurate the PlayStation 5 like hours played is. Um, mine is currently reading 19 hours and I haven't beat it. Now, two things. One, I have been going through loops. I'll start a loop and just tell myself, we're not accomplishing any missions here. We are just exploring. We are going around. We're looking at patterns from people, to the point where I'll walk into a certain like building or something at a certain time of day and I know the dialogue in my head already. I know. So like I go into the loops and I'm almost like taking mental notes where people are going to be at certain times and stuff like that. Um, so I have been really, really just like living in the world, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Number two. Oh wait, actually, I can't. I can't. I would have just probably spoiled. There's a certain mission, I'll say, where you have to find certain things in an environment. Um, and if you get caught, if you get exposed in that environment, you have a very limited time to escape, or else the entire biome just basically explodes. And you don't get to like how in when you die you get like 3 chances.
Yeah.
You don't get, it's one and done, and you have to restart the loop. And I shit you not, because now there's people crawling all over the place, and you have to search like all these little corners and things like that. You have to like to find these things, and there's no markers on them. You have to just look yourself. So it's you're balancing, not getting caught and trying to find these things. You're like really sneaking around, and the amount of times that the entire thing just blew up, and I had to restart, re-kill everyone in the beginning to get to where I needed to go. I think it took me 3 hours. Genuinely, I don't know like how much real time passed, but it felt like an entire day's worth of playing. That's the only time I felt really fucking frustrated.
Yeah.
Where I was like, ugh, like wanted to put the controller down almost. I got to that point. Which I don't even know 100% if I had to do it. I think it was a main mission. I think it was something that you have to do, but like well, I'll find out later. Also, a big plot thing just got revealed, so that was really fucking cool. The more I play this game, the more I love it. The more I only want to play this game. Quick story. So Friday night, we were all gaming. The boys gaming, and so two of us got off, and I thought it was just two of us, and I thought you and Steven, my brother-in-law, were still gonna be on. So my two brothers get off, Zach and Nicholas, and I'm like, all right, guys, want to run some Apex? And you two both also got off.
Well, in I'm gonna stick up for Steven here too. In our defense, you said good night.
To
You
my
said good night.
brothers.
You said good night, boys, and then we're quiet. So and you were uh inebriated to an extent that it was very obvious just in the way you were trying to speak. And
Yes.
normally that means it's time for bed. So we assumed that when you said goodnight, you were saying, okay, I'm getting off.
Normally it is time for bed, but for some reason, I didn't feel like super tired.
And also, you could have just texted us and said, hey, do you guys want to run Apex? I'm still on.
I suppose, yeah, that was an option. As you said, I was 6 IPAs and 2 vodka soda waters deep.
You were a little
Then
tired. You were a little sleepy. That's all.
I wasn't. That was the thing. So I was like, all
I'm
right.
I'm trying to help you in case an employer sees this.
I was I was abandoned, and so I was like, all right. I just poured another IPA, and so I was like, I can't just like dump this. So
I mean, you could.
I opened Deathloop, and so I started playing that. Things were a little blurry, you know, at times. You know, things were shaking. Didn't know if it was the game, it was my eyeballs, you know, whatever.
It was your eyeballs. It wasn't the game.
The game is incredibly hard to play. It's hard at times to play sober. It was way harder to play.
He said my eyes couldn't see straight, but it was kind of hard.
But even then, I was really enjoying myself. I absolutely, I do think, when it's all said and done, this could fall into like my top 10 favorite games of all time. I love it that much.
As it stands right now, it is my game of the year. I only played like maybe 4 to 6 hours. It's all I could really find time for. I say that, but I was playing a lot of Civilization and this week, like Monday and Tuesday. So
yeah.
But either way, it's because Deathloop, I still feel like I have no idea like what I'm doing when I go into each loop because they have those the things you have to keep reading, and I don't know how to read, so I just hit X until I get to play again. But I will say that I killed the first what are they called?
Visionary.
That's it. I was gonna say variant, and I was like, that's not the right thing. That's some Loki. But I killed her And even that, because I didn't read the thing going into it,
Yeah.
and I didn't read the notes that like there were more than one of her. This is a spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Wenji or whatever,
Wenji,
and there's
yeah.
like 15, and you have to kill them all. So I killed the first one. I was like, all right, sick, I'm done. And then I saw two
Nope.
more things pop up, and I was like, wait, well, what is happening? I killed them, and then it was like, now you got to kill the rest of them. There was like 8 other arrows popped up. I was like, whoa, 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 what happened?
Yeah, because Colt will say like, "All right, like 3 down, this many to go," and you're like,
Yeah, and I was like, what the
"Huh?"
fuck do you mean that many to go? I
Yeah,
got them.
yeah,
But I ran through that, and that was fun. Uh, and just the story that's happening between, like in general, where like you from a different loop, Colt from a different loop is showing up and like saying, hey, you got to do this.
yeah.
And then is her name's not Jessica. What's her name?
Juliana.
That's it. She shows up and like it seems like she's trying to help you or like be nice, but then in the next breath she's like, "Hey, we gotta fuck him up."
Yeah, right, right.
Like, and the idea that you're head of security, but like you're trying to be the one to break out of the loop.
Yeah,
Like the story itself is very very interesting. I'm
yeah.
very in on that.
I really can't wait until you progress further. But I want to cap it there. Because I do want to have a full
Oh, okay,
like spoiler cast dedicated to this. So we're gonna go into all spoilers once we both beat the game. Um, so
that's
yeah,
smart.
absolutely been loving it. And whenever we do record that, that's gonna be aside from this show for people who like don't want anything spoiled. Um, so yeah. What we wanted to do for this week's topic is um, with a lot of obviously we had the massive acquisition of ZeniMax, Bethesda with Xbox last year. We had a couple with PlayStation, with Housemark, um, and potentially Blue Point. There has been like rumblings of another major acquisition from Xbox. That could be Ubisoft. Also, there and this would be like massive. Square Enix. When we have um, Crystal Dynamics, the studio that made Marvel's Avengers, partnering with the initiative Xbox's like quadruple A studios, what they were calling it, to develop Perfect Dark. And now we're seeing Marvel's Avengers on Game Pass. So like obviously it could just be like we're partnering with them, so they're giving it like a small partnership. But there have been, like I said, there's been rumblings of an acquisition. Rumors that Xbox is looking to make another um somewhat similar size to Bethesda acquisition. Bethesda and Square Enix would both fit that bill, obviously. So what we wanted to talk about is or are these game acquisitions or game studio acquisitions good or bad for gaming in general, and then also for like consumers. So I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you give your input on this because I'm really interested to see. Uh,
I don't like it.
okay.
For listeners, I did a video gag. I have the sad faces still from like episode 2. Uh, I I don't like it. I think it's bad. And it kind of it clicked for me when I was playing Deathloop because this is the last Bethesda title, the less confirmed Bethesda title on Sony consoles.
Skyrim
Um,
PS5.
I'm not changing what I just said. Skyrim has already come out. It doesn't count.
Okay.
I fucking hate that. There's so many. Oh, you're gonna get me fired up. Uh, but yeah, it sucks. It sucks that this is the last one. And it's also because I just played Psychonauts 2 on Xbox One. And it played like shit because it's a newer game and Xbox One can't handle that. And like with there being shortages of consoles, I get Xbox is doing different things to like to branch out. But like it just I don't like the idea of having to own one of their consoles to play a Bethesda game in the same way I don't want to own only a Sony like Ratchet and Clank should be available on Xbox. I don't want to have to own a PS5 to play games by Insomniac.
Yeah.
Like, especially with they're doing a Wolverine game and like that's Sony exclusive.
Right.
And like that sucks because there's a lot of people that either can't afford PlayStations or can't get their hands on one and they're not going to be able to play that. Like it's a very shitty thing in my opinion to say, well, you have to buy our console. You have to participate in our ecosystem to play these specific games. And if you don't want to, you're out of luck. That doesn't it doesn't seem consumer friendly to me. I don't like the idea of these big companies buying up studio after studio after studio and making those games exclusive because that's shitty. That's saying you have to own everything to play to play everything, and that sucks.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
never been like that.
Like we've always had the few exclusives on each side.
Yes,
So
it's Halo, Last of Us, shit like that. Exclusive always will be. That's whatever. But it's when you start taking like a Skyrim or a Deathloop, you take Fallout, you take Ratchet and Clank, which that might have been exclusive anyway. No, wait.
yeah, it's
It
always
wa-
been. Yeah.
okay, never mind then. Or you take like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and you put them on an island basically. Like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, so I definitely and I feel like I this is like a cop out for me all the time. I definitely go back and forth. So I think that it's the massive ones like Bethesda um are better for the studios than they are for the general like video game consumer base. Um like it's great for Xbox people who own Xboxes, obviously. Um you are taking away games from another platform. But Game Pass changes a lot of that. So it's like I almost feel like if PlayStation bought Square Enix, that would be shittier than Xbox acquiring Square Enix because it does feel like Xbox obviously has PC as well and is not like there is no the only barrier to entry is like owning some kind of internet capable device and cloud streaming like $15. um Not ideal, obviously it's not, but I feel like PlayStation is way more traditional and you want to play our games, you spend $400 or $500, then you pay $70 for them and that's it. We're not like you're not streaming our brand new games, you're not getting them day one, you're going to it's you like it or not.
But
um
I guess as a counterpoint, and this isn't. I'm not necessarily saying this is me. It's just what I'm thinking of is like you live in a household with like you're a teenager, right? And you
sure.
have
Yeah.
siblings and parents, and you can only afford the base level of internet. And like in New York State, that's probably Spectrum, which I mean we both know is garbage.
Yep.
To stream those games, you have to have a steady internet connection,
Right, you do.
and you're not going to have that, which means you're not going to be able to play these games.
That's what I meant, like that technically is the lowest point of entry and it's not ideal, but even then there's a $300 next gen console. So it does feel like Microsoft and Xbox are more consumer friendly, and I think we both agree on that.
But there's also you can buy a PS4 for like $300.
400. Wait, a
I mean,
PS5 or 4?
four, four.
For me, that doesn't. I mean, we're in the next generation, so I don't know.
Right. Well, an Xbox Series S isn't that great. I mean, it's not that much of a step up from an Xbox Series or Xbox One.
It is a massive step up.
It's really not.
I own one. I've owned both of them. I know for a fact it is.
But I'm saying comparatively, from Xbox One to Xbox Series S is lesser of a jump than an Xbox Series or I have it in my head. I'm trying to formulate it into words. Yeah, it's a smaller jump from Xbox One to Xbox Series S than Xbox Series X to Xbox Series X. There are so many letters.
Yeah. So
So
obviously that
it's a
is.
it's a it's a halfway point.
I think that there's a lot more um to it than you. It's a much bigger jump than I think you realize. I was playing Halo Infinite. Duh! I didn't even talk about Halo Infinite in games that I've been playing. I played a little bit of Halo Infinite, and I was playing that at 120 frames per second on the Series S. Where on the Xbox One you're playing at 30 frames per second. So you are getting that much more performance out of this machine. On top of that, the SSD speeds are the same as the next generation, so the load times are still instantaneous. The machine is crazy capable for $300, and it is more than it is a next gen machine. It 100% is, and like I've debated whether because I mostly got one because it was the one that was available, and I've gone back and forth on whether or not I even feel the need to upgrade because it looks good on my OLED TV, and it feels like I'm playing next generation. It feels similar. Like obviously games on PS5 that run in 4K and stuff like that, it feels better, but it's not by a large margin.
I
And for people who
I
own a 1080p screen, like a 1080 TV, it makes way more sense than any other next gen console, um, in my opinion. So
which I guess I get, but it's in my head it's no different than PlayStation buying Square Enix. Like if Xbox bought them in PlayStation, because I mean, as it stands, PlayStation's still developing everything for PS4, and maybe it isn't the nerdy technical shit. Like personally, I don't give a shit if it's 60 frames per second or less. That doesn't bother me. If it looks all right, plays all right, I'll play it. So
well,
the idea,
a game like Psychonauts, platformers and stuff, like those are the ones that you want to be running at a smoother frame rate because that improves the precision and shooting and platforming and stuff like that. So that does play into why it ran so shitty on your console too. But I get what you're saying. Like in
like
single
it's
player games, I get what you're saying.
yeah. To me, it makes no difference who buys this. I don't want either of them to buy them. I want
Yeah, that's
Final Fantasy VII only being a PlayStation exclusive was fucking stupid when it came out. That should
yeah.
have been available across all platforms. Like I don't I hate the idea of you have to own some part of the Microsoft ecosystem and the Sony one and Nintendo to play everything. Well, I mean Nintendo's always been Nintendo and yeah, Mario and Zelda, fucking who cares? But like Sony and Xbox, like you're a
Sorry. Go
nerd.
ahead. Go ahead.
You're a goddamn Nintendo
Go ahead.
shill. I
Go
don't
ahead.
respect it. Uh, but like Xbox and like PlayStation, it sucks to have to choose or buy both consoles.
Yeah.
Like that idea is fucking stupid to me. It's not helping anybody.
No, I
And
definitely I know what you're saying, and I do agree mostly with what you're saying.
but me no talk word good. So it's hard for me to explain what I'm thinking
No, but
in a
I
coherent
got
way.
you.
But like even Phil Spencer fucking just lying outright when they acquired Bethesda and saying that we're not going to make it exclusive. We're not going to do that. That is That's not good for gaming and for gamers.
Yeah.
And then guess what? They're
Well,
exclusive. Buy an Xbox, get in our ecosystem.
he said that he doesn't like it. Um,
And that's going to be a case to case basis. And
yes.
then every case except for Deathloop has been no, this is going to be for Xbox. And it's like that's
Yeah, like Redfall.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
fucking stupid. If you don't like it, don't do it. You're in charge. Like what?
um, yeah, but so aside from the biggest problem with this, where people are gonna have to, if they want to play God of War and Elder Scrolls, they have to buy either a PC, um, along with their PlayStation 5, or an Xbox, or if they're able to stream it or whatever. The fact that they can't have everything on one, that does suck. It does. And so like that is the biggest problem I would say with the
Yeah.
acquisitions. Another one that I want to kind of dive into is, are we gonna get to a point where we're gonna lose creativity in gaming, where we have all of these huge AAA titles all being developed under Xbox? If Xbox bought Ubisoft and whatever, in a world where, like Square Enix gets bought by Sony, and we're all AAA titles are being developed under the umbrella of two big corporations, like, are we going to start losing some like diversity? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It I I could definitely see people resting on their laurels. I mean, there's nothing really you're gonna want to make the next big game, but like sales are gonna be limited. Like you're limited to that specific console if you're owned by that. Like and maybe Xbox will have a little bit wider because there are people that own PC. Once they do the TV streaming thing, that's another option, which I mean that's the same thing with an internet connection isn't gonna be great. Uh so it might be a little bit bigger, but at the same time, it's like uh, what is the point? It's just gonna be sequel after sequel after
Well,
sequel.
with Game Pass, that's where I feel like people can start to lose their, like, their, if they're just developing games for Game Pass, like they,
Yeah.
like, it could go both ways. It could be, we have ultimate freedom where we could develop this idea that we have without the fear of not selling a ton of copies. Perfect example is Deathloop. This obviously it's a PlayStation 5, but Arcane rather than Deathloop. Um, that was a studio where if Bethesda was not purchased by Microsoft and Deathloop came out and it flopped, or if it didn't, even if it reviewed well, like, which it did, and it did not sell well, Arcane was probably looking at being shut down. Um, because it didn't make any more sense for Bethesda and ZeniMax. That's why they were looking to sell. Now Arcane gets to keep existing. Arcane gets to create games like Deathloop. They get to take chances and put them out on Game Pass, and like, so that is like the positive side of it. But there is another side where, if we get someone like Crystal Dynamics, if they were purchased by Square Enix, or if they purchase Square Enix or a studio like that, I don't mean to take a shot at Crystal
Yeah.
Dynamics, but where, okay, let's do like a live service Avengers game, like they're gonna do that, and then it's gonna be dull and it's gonna be whatever. That scares me a little bit, and it almost feels like we're not gonna know the answer to it until after the fact, until we look back and be like, damn, like, there's been no, like, everything's been the same shit lately, and we're gonna look back and like in regret, like wishing that this didn't happen.
That's what is that game? It's not Returnal. The one that was on Game Pass. Oh my god. You streamed it. I played like a couple hours shooting.
On PlayStation?
Outriders.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like that, where they got zero money. They didn't get royalties because it didn't do well on Game Pass.
Well, it would be different if they were owned by Microsoft.
But at the same time, like, do you think they're going to take a chance like that again?
What do you mean?
Like that, because it was a company that was. Would Square Enix take a chance being bought by Microsoft and then putting all their games on Game Pass day one if they knew it was going to do so shitty? No, they're not gonna. They're not gonna be motivated to because they know that they're not going to make their return.
Well, it would be like an agreed upon like set amount of, like of money where it's just like this is what you get, and then like just to have diversity in on Game Pass. So I can see it being positive in some ways, but it also is taking a chance, and that's the what I ended up like thinking about it today. I think it's taking a chance where we could get to a point where we look back and we see all these acquisitions, and not like we have any fucking say, but being like, damn, I really wish this didn't happen. I really wish.
I
Eh,
already do.
yeah.
Like the idea of because I'll shit on Skyrim now just because it's like GTA. They've re-released it fucking 15 times, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of that. Instead of releasing Elder Scrolls 6, even though they've been working on it for like 10 years, like when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, when Fallout 5 comes out, it's going to be really disappointing to have the an Xbox console that can run that well in
Yeah.
order to fully enjoy it. Like that, the idea of not being able to play Deathloop on Xbox for some people, you know,
Yeah.
like we have PS5, so it's whatever. But like, there's some people that can't get a hold of it, can't afford to buy one, and they have Xbox and they can't play it. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah. No, I obviously like see that side of it for sure. Um,
I mean, that's really the only argument I have. And
well, and I just so like going back to the developer side of it, where and where you thought about Deathloop in the sense that it's the last PlayStation Bethesda game and stuff like that. I thought of it like we like are probably hopefully going to be getting more games like Deathloop on Game Pass with the acquisition. And they have the financial freedom to make things that they like ideas like follow through on ideas that they have without being living in fear that they're gonna get shut down because they're not selling well. But at the same time, yeah, like I think exclusivity for anything sucks. I'm always for getting games on other platforms. I understand the business side of it to an extent where you need to have the ones where it's like if you could play God of War anywhere, then why would I buy a PlayStation 5? So I like those things like I do understand where there's got to be a line drawn at some point, and obviously that's it. But once we start, you know, everyone picking a side and dividing, and now we got to
it's
pick a side between that, then yeah.
it's when companies start buying Square Enix and Ubisoft and Bethesda. Like that's when it becomes an issue because now you're taking away the biggest developers and
Yeah.
saying, well, now you have to, get into our ecosystem or not play this anymore.
Yeah.
Like if Sony bought Rockstar, like that'd be awful for gaming.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. um
Yeah.
the thought of that is just insane too.
That's and if you got to think if all these games keep going to Microsoft and that gets bloated, uh, which yeah, Game Pass is great, but it will get bloated with shit eventually.
Yeah.
then Sony's gonna they're gonna have a reaction, even if they don't really want to, and they're gonna go for studios that like they have the money to just fucking eat places up,
Yeah.
and
Um.
it's gonna suck.
So before we close this topic, so kind of just conclusion. Ultimately, we don't want to see them. We understand. Like I understand that. Yes, sad face for sure. Um. Do you think that we are moving towards a future where all games are going to be on some kind of subscription service? Is Sony going to move towards a Game Pass model at some point in the future?
I hope not. I could see them. I mean, like I said, PS Now is a good service. Now that I've tried it, it's not Game Pass yet, but if they actually invested the time into, if they, like we were saying a couple weeks ago, combine PS Now and PS Plus,
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it happening within 2 to 5 years, and I mean, $30 every month to have both, uh, to play games. I
The
don't know.
the thing is like so the way this ties into in my mind to the acquisition discussion is if Xbox does buy these huge studios and is loading up on AAA titles and adding them into Game Pass, like at some point the general public is going to like be looking at PlayStation like, why am I paying $70 for this? Why am I paying this money when I can pay 10 or whatever $15 a month for Game Pass and I'm getting all of these AAA titles day
Yeah.
one. Like see ya. Like it's that's where I it
Well,
almost feels like, well, do I think PlayStation will respond in that type of way? Potentially. I do think that they would
and
have to do something.
I could see them. I'm saying $20, but or 15, but I could see them doing 20 at least. Uh,
PlayStation, you mean?
yeah, a month, and
Yeah.
then and that being PlayStation Plus and PS Now being their subscription model for $20 a month, you can have whatever, and then releasing games every like 4 months. So I mean, they're still making their money because you're paying every month. You're paying $240 a year
Yeah.
for their service to only get a couple games that aren't going to equal that.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about where we're headed. Because even thinking about like growing up and just seeing where gaming was then, and looking at it now and just thinking like I never would have thought these were like Game Pass alone. Like I never could have imagined a service like that when I was younger, and so it's gonna keep evolving and it's gonna be hopefully exciting. And I think it really does feel like Xbox is the like stable, smart. They cook you dinner. They're very like they're the right choice. But then PlayStation is just hot as fuck, and you have to keep like it, you just can't say no. And and where they it feels like Xbox is like welcoming and they're so pro consumer, and Sony's like you're gonna take it and you're gonna like it, and I do. So
You and I are both in the camp of we will take it and we will like it.
so yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see where it all goes. Um, but yeah, I it's gonna be really interesting to see. And it also, we're heading up. We're closing in on a year since the next gen, the current gen consoles. Like I stopped saying next gen. We're a year into it. Um, we're a seventh of the way through already. So
Jesus Christ, dude.
yeah, crazy man. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the show today, guys. Really appreciate everyone coming to listen, coming to hang out with us. We'll be streaming again next week. Follow the Twitter to see what we haven't decided yet fully. We're gonna have some more discussions about that. We're leaning towards Twitch right now, and then uploading the videos on YouTube and stuff. But
But let us know. Let us know how you guys feel. If you prefer YouTube, then we'll do YouTube. If you prefer Twitch, we'll go to Twitch. Yeah, Twitter is what? At John Squared Pod?
yes.
Yeah, so at John Squared Pod.
Yeah, so yeah, keep up with us there. If you guys like the show, the best way for right now to support us is to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and if you're listening on a podcast service, leaving a review, that'd be really great. We'd really appreciate it. We appreciate all you guys and the support. And until next week, stay horny and stay hydrated. Peace.